Several of these communication systems were dismissed for decades as simple conditioned responses. In each case, more careful study revealed structural complexity, grammar, vocabulary, individual identity that the scientific consensus had assumed was uniquely human. Prairie dogs, Siamese species, produce calls that encode specific information about approaching predators, species, size, color, and speed of movement. Researcher Kon Slobodikov spent 30 years analyzing prairie dog calls using spectrographic software and confirmed that different predators produce consistently different vocalizations, and that within those categories, specific attributes produce measurable acoustic variations. A tall human wearing a blue shirt produced a different call from a short human wearing a yellow shirt, and those differences were reproducible across multiple prairie dogs in multiple experiments. This is not a learned alarm response with two states, present/absent, but a functional descriptive language with at least 4 simultaneous variables encoded per call. Elephants, Loxodonta africana, communicate across distances of up to 10 kilometers using infrasound, sound frequencies below the range of human hearing, transmitted both through air and through the ground. Elephants detect ground vibrations through their feet via Pacinian corpuscles, specialized mechanoreceptors that can distinguish seismic signals from background noise. The information transmitted includes identity, location, and emotional state. In studies where recorded elephant infrasound was played back through buried speakers, wild elephants responded directionally, turning toward the source and sometimes traveling toward it. Researchers have documented elephant groups responding to death calls from individuals they had not encountered in years, redirecting travel toward the source. Bowhead whales, Balena mysticetus, produce song sequences of extraordinary complexity, and do not appear to repeat them. Researchers from the Scottish Association for Marine Science analyzed 12 years of hydrophone recordings in Greenland and documented 184 distinct song types across the study period, with no confirmed repetition of any full sequence. Most whale song research has focused on humpback whales, which do repeat songs and modify them gradually across populations. Bowheads appear to improvise. Individual whales produce unique structures not previously heard, and the population-level song variety continues to increase rather than converging. What information this variation encodes remains unknown. Mating displays do not typically require unique songs, and bowhead social structure does not obviously explain it. Cuttlefish, Sepia species, communicate through simultaneous, independent skin displays across different regions of their body. The chromatophore system allows different messages to be sent through different skin regions at the same time. A male cuttlefish has been observed displaying courtship patterns on the side facing a female while simultaneously displaying male threat patterns on the side facing a rival male. The two displays are neurologically independent and can be maintained simultaneously without interference. This is analogous to a human holding two separate conversations using the left and right sides of their body at the same time. The full semantic content of cuttlefish skin signaling has not been decoded. Bees, Apis mellifera, encode the direction, distance, quality, and urgency of a food source in a single dance. The waggle dance angle relative to vertical corresponds to the angle of the food source relative to the sun. The duration of the waggle run encodes distance. The vigor of the dance indicates quality. Individual scouts returning from the same source produce slightly different dances, and bees integrate the variation across multiple scouts before committing to a direction, a form of collective averaging that improves navigational accuracy over any single scout's report. Scouts that have found competing food sources sometimes butt head with each other until one stops dancing, resolving the conflict democratically. The arithmetic precision of the dance encoding, verified by sending robots mimicking specific dance parameters to specific GPS coordinates, is accurate to within approximately 10% at distances up to 2.5 kilometers. Sperm whales, Physeter macrocephalus, organize into distinct cultural clans that maintain separate dialects, behavioral traditions, and social norms even when sharing the same ocean territory. Clans identified in the Pacific number in the hundreds to thousands of individuals and can be distinguished by their coda patterns, specific click sequences used for identity and social bonding. Clans do not interbreed even when they overlap spatially for months at a time. Different clans show different prey preferences, diving strategies, and responses to ships. This is the clearest documented case of animal culture operating at the level of thousands of individuals maintaining separate traditions without genetic isolation, a social organization with no direct parallel in any other non-human species. Banded mongooses, Mungos mungo, are the first non-human mammal confirmed to use individually distinct close calls, vocalizations that function as persistent, unique identifiers. Each mongoose produces a call with individual acoustic characteristics that other group members recognize and respond to specifically. The calls are used during coordination, foraging, and reunion after separation. Unlike primate vocalizations used for individual recognition, which are context-dependent and often incidental, mongoose close calls are produced proactively as identity signals. Playback experiments confirmed that mongooses respond differently to calls from familiar versus unfamiliar individuals, and from known versus unknown family groups, demonstrating three-tier recognition. Bottlenose dolphins, Tursiops truncatus, develop unique signature whistles within the first year of life that they use throughout their lifespan as individual identity signals, the functional equivalent of names. Dolphins address each other using copies of the other animal's signature whistle rather than their own. Studies tracking dolphin groups over 20 years confirmed that individuals recognize their own signature whistle after decades of separation, and respond preferentially to playbacks of whistles from former associates over whistles from strangers of similar acoustic structure. Dolphin calves copy their mother's whistle with a modification, not identically, to reduce confusion, and refine their own signature through a process that takes approximately 2 years and appears to require social feedback from group members. 8 communication systems. 8 cases where the initial scientific assumption that complexity requires a human brain turned out to be wrong. Tomorrow's fact involves an ability scientists still can't fully explain. This channel posts a new animal fact video every day. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one.